Hey, it's Beata, and today I would like to share with you some wonderful cards. And these cards are the soul cards. I have both of the decks. They are soul cards 1 and soul cards 2. And I have heard recently that in 2019 there might be a third deck of soul cards, and I'm looking forward very much for the third deck. Well, the cards are created by Deborah Koff-Chapin, and just as first heads-up information, I will definitely put the link down below for one of the interview that Simon from the Hermit's Cave had with Deborah. It is very interesting to see how was the process of creating these cards, and I can assure you it's going to be amazing. This is they are created by the method called touch drawing, and it is I don't know where the cards were published, but it is by the center of the touch drawing. This is the way that Deborah was creating. She was literally using her fingers and the fingernails to create those paintings. She was really putting paint over a piece of glass, then rolling it up, and then putting a tissue paper or some very thin paper, and just literally using the fingers and fingernails to draw. And she was doing at the same time both hands, so you could already see a shape of it. I will start from the little booklet just to tell you there is a little information about, let me see if everything is visible. This is the way she was really doing the drawings, but I will definitely put a link to see this interview with Simon, and you can over there see also the website where she is displaying all their artwork and the workshops that she's doing in this center of touch drawing. Okay, let me start from the cards. These are original boxes, but they were originally packed in an even bigger box, which was supposed to be a frame for each card. When it was so delicate and not very functional for me, so I have disposed them. On the back of the big box there were pictures of, and the very tiny pictures of in color of all of the cards, so I decided to cut it off and leave it. I don't have it with me right now, but this is the only thing I have left. And these are the boxes, which are more or less like a pocket, but it's very easy to damage the cards if you'll just put them in all the time. Of course, sometimes I'm putting the book and or the booklet and the cards in here, but it's really tight. But that was the reason, just to have them all in a little box like this. Nevertheless, I will not use these boxes, but I will keep these. The big one I have already disposed. I cannot tell you who is publisher of these decks, but I think it was self-published. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen a lot of videos about these cards in the internet. So and I also have a feeling why, because there are very different ways that you can, or the people are working with this with these cards, and in a moment you will see why. Because actually it is true that everyone, even those two cover boxes, these are the original cards in the decks as well, but even here everybody will see something different. Of course everybody will see a person or the elements in the pictures, but there is always something else some other people will find as a more important, or as a top layer, or some hidden layer. That is the reason why the soul cards doesn't also have any structure. But let us go back, or let us start from the beginning. There is a little booklet. Actually, both of them are identical, just the different colors, because, as you will see, the soul cards 2 are purple on the back, and soul cards 1 are blue or blue-green on the back. So these are the difference, but the booklets are actually identical. And you can work with these cards in a few different ways. And of course there is a quiet information about the preparation, how you could do it and how you should work it. But I can tell you, you can work with this card whatever you want or however you want. There are 60 cards in each deck. At the end of the booklet, I'll just go here. They are displayed, all of them. They are numbered, but as it says in here, for reference purposes only, the card were randomly numbered. So there is no order. The cards themselves doesn't have a frame, doesn't have a number, doesn't have a name. So there is no wrong or right order in these cards. Here they have just been numbered for reference. And it's good. On both of the booklets I have marked, as you can see, one of them in here is green and one of them is red. The red is because I am always choosing, not always, but quite often. With a new tarot deck you can do the interview. With this deck I have decided to pull one card with a question. How shall I approach you? How shall I start to get to know you, and so on. I will show you the cards in a moment. The green one, and I have done both in the second one as well, the same thing. I have tried to find something you can call as a soul card. Some card or a card that actually speaks to me the strongest or I like the most. It doesn't matter. But you can actually work with this deck in a few different ways. You can work with it as a reflection. Then you choose the card going through all the images. And at the beginning I was afraid when I will go through the cards, then I will choose very often the same cards, especially when there will be a good vibe for me. Well, don't worry, every time you'll go through you will notice the card that you have seen before, but then it will not catch your eye. It will not draw you so much as it was before, so you will be directed into another card. So these are the reflection way of working. The next, of course, you can go with the divination. And then these are just a few simple spreads, of course, past, present, future, body, mind, soul, and my favorite one. And I know it's only 2 cards, but sometimes I'm doing 4 cards in the same way. One of them is going to be challenge, and the other one is going to be the gift. And the gift within the challenge, or I'm changing sometimes. That's why I play with both of decks at the same time. I will tell about it in a moment. But actually I'm choosing the cards for the challenge of the week, for example. And the second card is the gift, you can call, but I'm calling it how can I handle those challenges in the best possible way. And the messages sometimes are amazing. I hope I will be able to find through some of the cards that I have been using for a few weeks ago, and they were really amazing how they were giving me advice and little heads up how to handle a difficult situation. But it's not only difficult situation. You can definitely see a lot of advices how to handle with the good information. So in general, how to handle around everything. You could of course combine work with the reflection and the divination purposes. So there are many different ways. There is a silent contemplation if you are up to it. There is a written or verbal in here, and actually you might find a difficulty to write about, for example, you will choose this card or draw for divinational purposes this card, and then you wanted to scribble a little bit or write down about your thoughts and opinions, and it's okay, nothing wrong in here. But if you wanted to refer or go back in a time and read what was the situation or what was the input, you would not know what card it is. Of course you could use the numbers that are in here, so you could always have as a reference. Well, I have decided to use something else. For a few years now I'm using an application called Evernote, and this application is for the telephone, for the computer, and it's free, and you can make a note, you can combine a lot of information over there, and then you can put the pictures, you can voice write, you can actually record voice messages. Since it is possible to combine also the pictures, I think from not so long time ago, I have decided to put a picture of the cards that I have chosen for the week, for the case, or for the question, and just to put a few sentences over there, and then by the end of the day I'm just writing a few more sentences about it, and over there I can see the pictures, and then the little description, what I saw, what was important at the time for me to see in this picture. And this is the way to work for me, so, you know, written or verbal. I have also noticed that when I'm analyzing those cards, or working with the cards, you can say, I like to speak out loud. I know it might sound a little silly, but I don't know, I have a feeling that it's better. It's this way that the cards are pulling me deeper into under layers, for example. I'm not very good in the visualization, oh my gosh. So I'm not very much visualizing, but you can have some information about the movement, and after contemplating of the image, you can have a dream incubation and prepare yourself before you will go to sleep to have dreams. There is a music involvement, and actually I don't know if you can hear, but I didn't want to put it too loud, but every time for about half a year or even longer, I'm really quite often listening different kind of chakra tunes or chakra tones. And I have two sets, one 30 minutes each for each chakra and one 60 minutes. And I have noticed that when I write, when I do something, when I work magical things or ritual, or when I write in my book of shadows, or when I really playing with some decks, especially with the soul cards, I really like this chakra music to be somewhere in the background. It is important for me, and I can really see the benefit of it. So, and then you can have different kind of approach, therapeutic relationship, psychic readings with children in a group. Sorry. And then information about the combining decks. And let me just tell you a few things. As I said here, it's exactly the same, nothing else in here. I have tried to use this deck one at a time. Then I have tried, but they are 60 cards. The cards are rather thick, maybe not that thick as Marielle, but also rather thick and heavily laminated. Therefore, when you fan them like this, or trying to go one card by card, quite often they will stick to each other. So I think it's worth to mention if you are looking for these kind of things. And oh, I can see my camera is a little off center. Okay. So I was using one at a time. At some point I have decided to go with both of them at the same time, but each deck already now they are rather large cards, they are rather thick cards. So one deck is rather thick. Can you imagine how to shuffle this beast together? It's really not possible. So I have decided I will not use them together, but I'm using them together in a different way. Sometimes I'm using only one, sometimes the other. Sometimes the challenge, the spread that I have mentioned at the beginning, if I will find it quickly here. The challenge I will choose for one deck, and the gift or the how to handle this challenge I'll choose from another deck. So this is the way for me to work with both of them. As you can see, the difference are rather obvious, so if you will even use them together, you will be able very quickly to separate them again. So let me start from the soul card one, but from the deck one, but I'm just checking if there are some more information. The genesis of soul cards you can get from this information in a booklet, and how the drawings are made and so on. So, and then at the end some acknowledgements and supplemental resources you can go through. Of course, you can buy some other goodies on her website. And then the pictures that I have mentioned, and just a little about Deborah Koff-Chapin. So, we will not, of course I will, during our conversation or me talking to you, I will go through or show the cards, but we will not go deep into each card. And I think there is a reason why there is not so many videos to explain every single card. Because, as I said before, everyone will see this card differently. Everybody, there is a reason that I have put them in such an order. In a second I will explain. There are many different images, but for each image somebody else will find a different explanation or different meaning, or notice or spot something that you are not aware or you are not looking at the time. So there is a reason why there are not so many videos explaining all the cards in here. Some of the cards, and then before I have even started to work with them, I was really feeling sorry that there are not so many videos, but once I have started to work with them and use them, I have noticed that, okay, there is a sense into it, there is a meaning. We should not see too many videos about these cards, because, I mean, of course, about to see them, fair enough, and it's absolutely okay to do it, but explaining each card, then it's totally individual thing, and there are no right or wrong. For me, it might not mean anything. For somebody else, might mean some secret code of some sort. It is really individual case, and I'm trying to not compare these cards into tarot, but of course, since you are into tarot thing and cards for so long, then it's not so easy. But anyway, these cards, with the more I'm using them, they are showing me more that they are totally different way of working. There is no structure. You will definitely find one difficulty. I mean, I have found one difficulty. There is no structure in here at all. The numbers, you can see it was for reference purposes only, and that's it. There is no chords, there is no numbers, there is no wrong or good or wrong way of putting them in a deck or in a spread. It really doesn't matter. I know that these are the soul cards, so they're supposed to be good. They're supposed to give you empowerment and helping to solve those weaker or lower moments of your life. So there are no wrong or reversed. Some of the cards, though, you will see that you might actually look in a few directions, and in these cards, then you will see something different. Something else in the picture will be, you know, more important at the time. It all depends. How do you feel? How is your soul feeling, if I can call it like this, or say it like this? What are your emotions? Where are you in your life in this very moment when you are working with the deck? So it is really so independent. Not independent, but it's individual. It is so individual that everybody will see in this card, for example, will see something different, and I will notice something totally different. But it's okay. There are no wrong or right answers or opinions about this each card or this deck. Just a little information. I'm not quite sure which of them, but I think this is one of the cards that I have been redo from the first edition, and I think this is one of the cards, but I really don't know which of them was I have just heard within the time. You will notice that, yeah, again, the cards will go sometimes in a few different directions. Depends which way you actually want to use it. And they are more, some of the cards are more cheerful, some of the cards are more, you know, this delicate spiritual. Some of them requires like philosophical contemplation. Some of them are more creation in its form. Some of them are mystical. And there are a few cards which are maybe not scary, but really looking serious or looking troubled or looking, you know, reflecting your troubled soul or something like this. So they are really beautiful images in the deck, and it's really something special you can get out of it. Let's say these two. Let's consider or remember that these are all positive informations that are supposed to give you all, you know, the messages. But you can actually, it all depends on the question or the situation or your state of mind or state of your feelings. But both of them are positive, and this one is more cool. Again, I don't want to compare it to tarot, but it's more like a water energy. This is more like fire energy. But let us try to deep in. And I have noticed once you have started to speak, let's say out loud about the cards, notice some other things, then you'll go deeper. Then your intuition will be pulled even deeper into the meaning, because one thought or one sentence will lead you to another. And I was really hesitating at the beginning, but I can assure you it's going to be an amazing trip or journey, because these are the cards. I know I have said a few times about some other decks like the Weaver's Oracle that these will be the cards for me, but I have noticed that the Weavers, for example, are really good to pull one card for the major big reading as a really sum it up center or grounding element of the reading or the spread. These cards in particular are for my soul, are for my own use purpose, or only for my own use. So I really, even when you don't feel or think of yourself like you are intuitive reading, or, you know, this soul part, it is difficult for you to get a grip of. It was for me, and it still is, but this is the process for me. But again, let's go back to these cards. This is there for me. Of course, you can see the deep blue sky or deep blue sea. There is maybe water, or we don't know, and there is a person who is ready to speak, ready to share the message, who might bring the light to people or bring the peace to people, or your information that has been, you know, hidden or blocked within some time. It is ready to go out, and you are aligned with the thoughts and with the way you will the way you will deliver it to the world. This is something, of course, it's just briefly. Sometimes I'm working very not very long, but definitely longer time in each card to go, to understand, to look at it, and to notice the things that and to actually, it's curious. I'm curious how my intuition or where my thoughts will be, you know, flying, floating, or something else. This is the, again, another card. Let's say it's also positive, but this is more creative. This is more action orientated. This is more not communicating, is doing in its basic form, but you can see the person is ready to give, ready to receive, or ready to receive. The face or the eyes are looking straight forward, so they are, let's say, focused and orientated in the one goal that they are following. Everything is aligned within the heart, so so all the good vibes or the spark of action will be really strong, and it will vibrate into all surroundings. You can interpret this card in many different ways, and it again depends on what you are going to ask, or how are you going to ask for advice. They are really beautiful cards. Yeah, there are many. You can group them in some way. You can definitely group them in some similarity, but in general there is no particular order. There are some hands, I don't know. You can see like the mirror reflection, for example. Here you can see the person who is maybe hiding something from the world, or not ready, or maybe hiding the treasure she is not, or he is not ready to share. They are really strong images, and the longer I am working with the deck, the more, again, you can go in the different directions, the more I find it very useful, and the more I trust these cards. And sometimes when I'm choosing the card for reflection, meaning I'll go through each card like this, and which of them will draw my attention, then it's appeared that, you know, it's really sometimes I'm noticing something totally different. They are beautiful cards. Yet this is the card from the image, from the box, I mean. And they are definitely, you will love them. You will definitely love. Even, I don't know much about art, so I cannot say if these are good or not. But we are not judging here whether they are good or not. The only factor or the only thing that you can judge how much they appeal to you, how much you can get from those cards. And with the more time spent with the cards, you will definitely see more benefits out of it. Okay, this card I will put aside because I would like to, if I will be able to, if I will be able to find, just 1 second. Why am I not prepared? Well, let me tell you about this card. It's because, as I have told you at the beginning, I have chose one card with the question, how shall I approach this deck? How shall I go deeper in the deck? Or how, you know, how it's going to be to work with this deck? And this is the card that I have pulled from Soul Cards 1. And the image, and this is the one from the second, and the image just told me that, okay, you will see the dark background, you will see maybe, yeah, okay, you will go blindfolded, you will not feel the territory yet, but you have to go in a two ways. One, more pragmatic, you will go like down to earth and go one by one, but it will go faster. That's my opinion. It will go faster than you expect. Or on the other hand, you will have some guidance. You can allow yourself to fly a little bit with the explanation of this card, with the meaning that you can see in these images. That is also why there are no right or wrong answers in here. There are no wrong or right interpretation of these cards, and that's why these cards are so powerful and so important, especially for the personal usage, and that's why it is really important for me. So I have chose this card, not chose, I have actually drawn this one card. The second card I have chosen, this is the card as I call a soul card. And believe me or not, it might be maybe silly, it might be maybe not 100% aligned with all the informations, but I can see in this card the alchemical symbol of creation of all things. Like the person who is aligned and in peace in meditation, the water or the energy is going from the source or from above as well, as above so below. I don't want to refer to tarot, but anyway, this is the way. The cosmos is all the way around, and the person is all the creation was done in a vessel. We are treating, or we should treat ourselves as vessels, or think of ourselves. So that's why I thought of this card as a really a soul card. How I can call, yeah, the soul card. What is the really the image that it applies to me so much? But and again, for somebody it might be silly, for somebody else it might be even understandable. But it's for me. It is my card, and the only reason I'm sharing with you it's just because I wanted to tell you how I work with this deck, or how to start to work with the soul cards. There is a reason that I have chosen. These are from Soul. This is the card from Soul Card 1. This is from Soul Card 2. There is a reason why it is individual. For example, a few weeks ago, I knew that I will have a very heavy week ahead. And I have asked, again, this simple spread. What was it called? Just to tell you. Yeah. The challenge and the gift. Or the challenge and how to handle the challenge. So I have asked the question, what would be my week? And I knew my week is going to be maybe not totally upside down, but it's going to be intense. And it was. And it was really crazy. A lot of things happened at that time. And I'm not saying that all the things that happened, it was bad thing, but it was really intense time, and it was kind of stressful as well. So I could see that I will be really doing a lot of things at the same time, but also someone or something, some energy or some guidance will be as a protector. So I will be able to fulfill or to go through all the things. And with the question, how shall I deal with the challenge? I have drawn this card. This is from the Soul Cards too. And I know it might have many meanings of the card. But when I have chose this card, I thought, okay. So, of course, when the first instant thinking was, okay, I have to separate my emotions from my thoughts. Then in this way, I will be able to work things through quicker, easier, better, more effective. And it was true. The week was totally crazy, it was hectic, and I still felt that I can handle the things the way I just described a few seconds ago, and it helped me to separate my emotions. And you know, we girls or we women are really emotional, can be really emotional, depends on which part of the month we are. Nevertheless, it is really, it has helped me to go through. But it's, again, remember, this is only my interpretation of these cards. That's why I will not go so much into it, just because I don't think it's good to explain each card, because somebody else should see something totally different. Well, let us go through the soul cards too. Again, the booklet is exactly the same, just another color of the background. So this is my last card, and they are the difference between those. I can see in the soul cards too, the colors, the images are a little bit more strong sometimes, or stronger. Like this rainbow, the person, look at the person's eyes. I mean, look at it. He's looking like he has saw a rainbow for the first time in his life. Like he's looking or holding in his hand something treasurable or some miracle. So they are really deep card, and the longer you will use, or the deeper you will go with. And again, some of the cards are really strong. You can see the Holy Mary, the Virgin Mary in here if you are a Catholic, or you can see any other things in each card. You can see some of the cards. I will just go through and tell you. Amazing, like a dreaming, right? Like a totally dream card. Like this one, you feel like you trapped in some cocoon, and then you are screaming, shouting the way out of it, and you're still not sure if you'll be able to do it. I know, again, I promise that I will not compare this to the tarot, but isn't it the true Lovers cards? The love itself, the decision that has been made or need to be made, or choices that you have to take, sometimes lead to the broken heart, and the heart is bleeding in here. So they are really some of the strong cards, some of the powerful cards, some of them are really deep. And again, this is also a deck that you can go multi-direction. I think the same in here, depends if you are looking with the reverse. And you cannot recognize where from the background, because each back is a little different. And this is the card from the box. It's really beautiful, so deep, so powerful. Really, this is the deck, or these are the decks that I'm working with in the way that I have never even thought that I would be able to do so. So, but I think it also comes with an age. So some of the people will use these cards for something else. I will use maybe for motivation. I will use it for guidance, like a conversation with my soul. And I think it's really